There's something magical about the Beetlejuice sequel. Some opinions on it range from lightly positive to fairly negative, but some people couldn't get enough of it. And that makes sense. Beetlejuice is more than just creatively odd, it's whimsical enough to feel safe, but also sexual enough to feel dangerous. Watch it young and it's like peeking into a world you aren't supposed to see yet.
Oh, I see what you're driving at.
The new sequel, Beetlejuice BEETLEJUICE, is missing that edge. It's tamer, more straightforward, and far more willing to hold your hand as you traverse the story. Put the two films side by side and you'll see traces of director Tim Burton's journey to the mainstream over the intervening 36 years. You'll also see that a certain spark survived the trip. Burton has credited this experience with rekindling his love of filmmaking, and I think there's something to that. Beetlejuice 2 is very fun, funny, and full of imaginative moments. At the Venice Film Festival, where Beetlejuice 2 premiered as the opening film, it kept the audience laughing throughout, even earning one burst of spontaneous applause. I have to imagine the energy in the room was fueled by the sense of rediscovering the joy people felt watching it. Today's audiences are used to seeing once beloved properties dug up and filled with hot air until their awkward, uncanny movements slightly resemble life, and Beetlejuice 2 is certainly guilty of cashing in on the nostalgia bubble before it pops. But going back to the well doesn't have to be a soulless exercise. Familiarity is an opportunity when approached like one. Screenwriters Alfred Gough and Mars Millar, who Burton collaborates with on Wednesday, understand that, and they revisit the Dietz family by inverting the 1988 original. Lydia, once a teenage outcast who resisted her father's schemes to cash in on her gift of sight, is now a TV medium and ghost hunter of considerable fame. Delia is back in the city as a successful artist, while quiet-loving Charles travels to birdwatch in far-flung places. Familiar dynamics return, also distorted. Lydia's daughter Astrid loves the macabre, but she's not truly a loner. She'd probably be well liked by her peers if it wasn't for being branded by her mother's celebrity. She detests Rory, her would-be stepfather, but as the central couple, Rory and Lydia have none of the love of either the Maitlands or the Dietzes. In fact, Rory is more Beetlejuice-coded than anything. And while the family is once again drawn to Wind River by a funeral, they're returning to sell their house, not buy it.
Is to sell your meth.
This same but different approach is felt throughout Beetlejuice 2, and it is welcome. It proves you can fill a movie like this with callbacks to the original and still make it feel like its own unified experience. And it's no small thing for a legacy sequel to have a filmmaker at the helm who is actively revisiting their legacy. There's kismet between Burton's situation and grown-up Lydia's, and there are moments that feel like nods to his other work, as if he's grappling with his career. It's no full-on interrogation, but it's enough to give this exercise some weight. While there's strength in approaching a sequel as an adaptation, being so tethered to the original comes at a cost. For one, it suffers by visual comparison. Beetlejuice 2 is full of wonderful, inventive design and effects work, but the cinematography and framing are more functional than expressive. And it's no wonder this film lacks the original's wildness, both visually and narratively, when every choice is made with the original in mind. The very endeavour comes with guardrails that Burton and co. weren't limited by the first time around.
Yeah! The glove's coming off!
Don't hurt me now.
But the Beetlejuice 2 cast is its lifeblood, and everyone was clearly feeding on whatever energy Burton was putting out on set. Faced with a much faster pace, the ensemble work in unison to keep the ball up comically, and they fill their performances with as much weird characterization as the design approach demands. This world comes to life because they bring it to life, despite some being disadvantaged by the script. Ryder and Ortega are the most burdened with drama, which isn't this movie's strength, and the fact that it all holds together is a testament to their work. Monica Bellucci and Willem Dafoe's characters, both essentially bits, are somewhat undercut by being over-explained. That puts Michael Keaton and Catherine O'Hara right in that sweet spot, full-bodied supporting characters free to play. Beetlejuice and Delia are deployed just the right amount, each injecting the movie with their own flavour of chaos whenever things risk feeling stale. Watching these lauded performers is always a pleasure, but they also understand this project the best. Their scenes are the closest the sequel gets to how its predecessor felt. But chasing that singular tone would have been folly. It's better I can say that Beetlejuice 2 does its own thing and that, more often than not, it works.
It works! It works!
So overall, the pros: Beetlejuice 2 has the right amount of energy to feel like its own thing, the story inverts the original's narrative and makes things interesting, and Michael Keaton and Catherine O'Hara are especially great, keeping things from growing stale. And the cons: the sequel lacks the original's wildness, and some characters are disadvantaged by the script.